Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 8 a.m. Freestyle Flow. So today I did mention we were going to weave the theme of vulnerability and imperfection into our practice. So let's get started right away. Settle in on your back body. Lying on your mat, soles of the feet together if it feels comfortable for you. As that tends to be a very vulnerable situation for many people. Arms drop out to the side. Bend the elbows, cactus them. And as you tuck your chin and just feel the skull get heavy, let out a big exhalation. Start to settle into your breath here. And as you settle into your breath, I'm just going to grab a famous quote. Maybe not famous, but there's a necklace I found that symbolized beautifully broken. The words totally resonated with me. So as you settle in on your back body, settle into your breath, I'm going to invite you to listen to the words and let whatever resonates with you resonate. Let go of the idea of perfection. You are not perfect. You are real. Let yourself be flawed. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Recognize that you're not always going to have it all together. Sometimes your heart is going to break. You are going to get hurt. You are going to feel pain. Don't apologize for being broken. Every time you break, you become a little more alive. You become more open with yourself. You become exposed to your sensibility. Every crack tells you a little more about yourself, your strength, your courage, your tenacity, what you're made of. Do not hide these pieces from the world. They are part of who you are. You see, the most beautiful people are beautifully broken. Their hearts are heavy, but they love the deepest. They have seen the dark, but they appreciate everything that shines. They're compassionate, understanding, and empathetic. Beautiful hearts just don't happen. And you, my dear, are gonna show the world just how beautiful you are. So as you allow yourself to just settle into your breath, allow yourself to move through your practice today with whatever flaws are there. Allow yourself to let every posture be yours. So as we add some movement with awareness, if you like, use your hands to draw your knees together. Heel toe your feet as wide as the mat, preparing for windshield wipers. Let the legs fall to the right and then to the left at your own pace. Follow the rhythm of your breath. Maybe you want to move a little slower than your breath today. Maybe you want to move a little faster than your breath. Allow it to be your movement. Let's take one more time to each side. And when you come back to center, just cross your left ankle over the right knee. Maybe keep the arms out to the side, palms down for support, and just find a gentle rock side to side here. And if it feels okay, go ahead and fall all the way over to the right, finding that gentle twist. Keeping both shoulders planted. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. Can you find more space between your molars as you follow your next exhale all the way out? And as you draw your breath in, engage the core, bring the knees back to center. Just thread that right arm between the legs, interlace the fingers behind your hamstring. Flex your feet, flare your toes. And as you exhale and drop the shoulders deep into your mat, Allow the knee to fall in towards the chest. Allow yourself to move into whatever space is there with each exhalation. This is just the beginning, no force, no pull. Take one more full breath in as we exhale. Let's release that bind. Plant the soles of the feet to the mat. Heel toe them as wide as the mat once again and return to your windshield wiper. Just letting the legs fall left to right. Noticing if there's a difference between the left and the right side here. Keeping that awareness. Staying with your breath. And this time when the knees come back to center, cross the right ankle over the left knee. And find that gentle motion rocking side to side. Notice where you start to resist in this motion. See if you can use your exhale to soften as you reach your arms back out to the side, palms down for support. Let the legs fall all the way over to the left, finding that same gentle twist. Surrendering to whatever twist is naturally there to start. Keeping both shoulders grounded into the mat. Keeping the jawline soft, the space between the shoulders and the ears long. Is the breath still natural? Let's all exhale here completely. And on the inhale, engage the core. Bring the knees back to center. And this time when you untwist the legs, pull the knees deep in towards the chest. Bring the hands on the back of the hamstrings. Preparing for our spinal roll. Tuck the chin to the chest. Use your legs or your core to gently roll through the spine. From the hips to the shoulders. Take as many rolls here as feels good. If it doesn't feel good, just make your way to your tabletop position and we'll all meet there. When we do all arrive in that tabletop position, in the center of your mat, with your shoulders over top of your wrists, your knees underneath your hips, curl all 10 toes under. Soften that space between your shoulders and ears and let your belly fall towards your mat as you press your heart forward and the bones in your bum to the back of your mat. Exhale, tuck your chin, hollow your belly around your back. 3 breaths here through our cat-cow. Just to enjoy that ripple through the spine. Maybe find a little more length through the front and the back body. Allow that opening to be yours. And then we're going to drop right into puppy pose. So a lot about our vulnerability is just like opening through our chest, opening our heart. So walk the hands forward to the front of the mat, maybe even past it. Keep your hips stacked up over your knees, and then just let your chest sink to wherever that space allows for you. Maybe the forehead settles all the way onto the mat. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you need a block. But when you arrive in your space, I want you to spread your fingers a little bit wider on the inhale. Press into the mat, push it away. Draw the hips to the back of the mat. And with the exhalation, notice how much tension is between your shoulders and ears. Soften it. Let the chest start to sink a little bit closer to the mat. Let's take 3 full breaths here in our own space. When you're ready to draw that next breath in, walk the hands back underneath your shoulders. Take your knees a little bit wider. Touch your big toes together and sit back into your child's pose. Reach your arms forward and see if you can just wiggle into that space. Pressing into the right hand, rise up slightly so you can thread the left underneath the right. If you want a little more opening here, extend those right fingertips up towards the ceiling or even take them to the back to the mat. But notice if you're in a place where you can still relax both sit bones evenly onto your heels, where you can just draw a full breath in and actually broaden the space across your collarbone with your breath. One more full breath in this way. And as you exhale and release the bind, extend the right arm forward. Press into the right hand slightly. Inhale. Reach the left arm forward so you can thread right underneath left. Sink onto that shoulder and ear in the same way. Inhale the hips back towards the right, and if you want a little more, fingertips go towards the ceiling or maybe even reach to bind onto the opposite thigh. Use the breath in all the way from the belly to expand the rib cage, and take your time to follow it all the way out. And on the next exhalation, when you release the twist, extending the left arm forward. Inhale to press into the left hand. Rise up slightly. Extend that right arm forward and just walk your hands back towards your knees. We're going to bring our knees together. Curl 10 toes under and actually use your hands to press your heels together, sitting back onto your heels. If this is too much, use your fingertips or feel free to point your feet. We're going to concentrate on opening through the chest once again. If you have a tie or a strap, sorry, I should have mentioned it at the beginning, you can bring it to the side. So you're sitting on your heels. All 10 toes are curled under. Inhale the right fingertips up towards the ceiling and let it drop behind the back. Bring your left hand onto your right elbow to gently draw it over. Exhale the shoulders down the back. Inhale, lift your chin. If this feels okay, then go ahead. Take that left arm out to the left, palm back, thumb down. Bend your elbow until you can interlace those fingers. This is where that strap or tie comes in handy, where you can just walk that hand up that strap. Notice here, can you lift your chin? Exhale, relax your shoulders. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And when you exhale and release that stretch, roll back to your hands and knees, point your toes, and just tap the top of the feet gently to release. We're going to come back into the same posture just with the other arm. So as you curl all 10 toes under, press the heels together and sit back. This time you're going to take the left arm overhead, drop it behind the back, and bring that right hand to gently draw that left elbow over to the right. Lift the chin. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Settle here and just breathe. If you do want more, take more on the other side. Right hand goes out to the right, palm back, thumb down, and you just bend your arm, reaching back for that strap or the fingertips. Inhale, lift your chin. Exhale, relax your shoulders. Notice if you're sticking your rib cage out to make this happen. Really important, find that connection in the torso, drawing the ribs back towards the lower hips. This is where I want you to feel perfectly imperfect. If I show you, on the other side I could interlace my fingers. There's a large gap on this side. Allow yourself to accept wherever that difference is, wherever those imperfections are, and just breathe. Let's take one more giant breath in as you exhale. Release any bind that you have. Roll back to the hands and the knees. Curl all 10 toes under. And let's move right into our first downward dog by taking the sit bones up and back. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Make sure the hands are shoulder width distance. Feet are in the same line as you drop the gaze between the feet. Maybe you want to bicycle out here to find a little more space. Maybe you want to find a soft bend in your knees and bring your chest a little bit closer to your thighs. Where can you re-steady your breath? And on the next exhalation, just bend the knees a little bit more so you can look between the hands and step just the right foot between the hands. Stay balanced on your fingertips, settling here in runner's lunge. Wiggle that back foot till the heel lines up over the toe mount. Inhale, space between your chest and your thigh, and reach the fingertips for the back of the mat. Find lots of space between the shoulders and ears. See if you can lighten those front right toes. Hug that right knee out towards the pinky toe side. And on your inhalation, sweep the fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling, and as you exhale and sink into that space, let the hands come back to the mat. Step your right foot back to your left. Inhale into your high plank position. Exhale to lower halfway or all the way. Point the toes. Draw the chest forward. Relax the shoulders down the back. And on the exhalation, flip the toes. Lift the sit bones up and back. Reset your downward dog. Re-steady your breath. Breathe here. Same opening on the other side. Soften the bend in the knees. Look between the hands. Step just the left foot or the opposite leg, whichever you used last time. Wiggle the toes between the hands. Wiggle that back foot till the heel lines up over the big toe mound. And as you draw the navel in and find space between the chest and the thighs, sweep the arms to the back of the mat. Lift the head so it's a full extension of the spine. You're not looking up, but you're not tucking your chin. Inhale, press through that back heel. Extend through all 10 fingertips. And on the next inhale, sweep the fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling. Find length in your torso. And as you exhale, keep that connection in the legs as you soften into that space. Bring the hands all the way down to the mat. Step left foot back to right. Inhale into your high plank position. On your exhalation, choose to lower halfway chaturanga all the way. Press through the tops of the feet, and as you draw the chest or heart between the arms, maybe even look up this time. On the exhalation, flip the toes. Lift the sit bones up and back, downward dog. Spread the fingers a little bit wider. Settle back into the rhythm of your breath. Notice how you're feeling. Keep that self-awareness. Keep that natural rhythm in your breath. And as you inhale high on all 10 toes, stay high on your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands. Tippy toe, hop or jump lightly to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift your chest halfway. Exhale and fold. Here you can find a soft bend in the knees. You can balance on the fingertips. Maybe if you have a block, hands are on the blocks. If you have the space, feel free to hold opposite elbows. Let the forehead drop all the way to the forearms. Settle here into your fold, letting more weight draw to the balls of the feet. Trusting your balance as you exhale and let the crown of the head descend towards the mat. And if you want, maybe you gently add a side-to-side motion. 3 more full big breaths. Really let each exhalation all the way out. Find that awareness where you're resisting. See if you can soften it with your exhale. Give yourself permission to make this pose yours. And on the exhalation, release any binds. Soften the bend in your knees. Inhale, rise up by sweeping your fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling. On the exhalation, drop the arms at shoulder height. We're going to take eagle arms here. So cross the right arm on top of the left. Bend the elbows, turn the palms out, and bring the hands together. As you inhale and lift the elbows up towards the ceiling to open that space between the shoulder blades. Exhale and sink the sit bones towards the mat. Moving into our chair posture with eagle arms. Relax the jaw. Each inhalation lifts the elbows and each exhalation sinks the sit bones. Gently squeeze the knees together. See if you can feel more weight in your heels and even wiggle your toes. And on the exhalation, fold forward, release the arms, plant the hands to the mat. Step just the left foot to the back of the mat, letting the knee settle, pointing the toes, pressing through the top of the foot. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up into our monkey lunge, keeping that core engagement of drawing up and away from the mat. And on the exhalation, when we plant the hands, moving into that half splits, pulling the sit bones to the back of the mat, flexing that right foot, sliding the fingertips towards you as you lift your chest. Floating between these postures today, inhale, lunge forward, sweep fingertips up. Exhale, pull hips back. Remember, you always have permission just to settle into each posture for a couple breaths. If you want a little more movement, a little more flow, feel free to float. Remember, do what you can. Let's go one more time between each postures. And bring both hands inside that thigh. Heel toe the foot to the outer edge of the mat. And as you lift up through the big toe mound, let the knee fall out to the side. For most of us, we might just settle here. If you want a little bit more, bring that right hand inside that right thigh. Gently draw the right shoulder away from the left. Exhale the shoulder blades down the back rib cage as you inhale and lift the heart up. You have the option to settle here. If you still desire a little more depth, reach those right fingertips for the back of the mat. Bend the left knee, ensuring you're on the top of the knee, not on the kneecap. And let yourself settle into your breath. Remember, make this posture yours. Where can you open up into it? Where can you settle into your breath? Perfectly imperfect. And on the exhalation, when you release the bind, keep the right fingertips up towards the ceiling as you heel toe your foot back to center. Curl your back toes under. And on the inhalation, lift that knee up and away from the mat. Settling into our simple twist. Gently squeeze the inner thighs together, find a little more lift. And then reach through the crown, press through the back heel. Take a full breath in here. On the exhalation, windmill that right hand back to the mat. Step right foot back to left. As you inhale into your high plank position, exhale to float through your vinyasa or to return to downward dog or child's pose. This is your practice. Allow yourself to settle to wherever it feels right to you. Reset the rhythm in your breath. And use that next inhalation to come high on all 10 toes. Bend the knees, lift between the hands, step, hop, or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale to lift the chest, exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, sweep the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Palms touch, stay nice and tall. Exhale, hands to shoulder height. Moving to the other side, just cross the left arm on top of the right for your eagle arms this time. Bend the elbows, turn the palms out, and bring the hands together. On the inhalation, as you lift the elbows, exhale, sink the sit bones. Pause here. With each inhalation, gently press the elbows up towards the ceiling and draw the hands away from the forehead as you exhale and sink the sit bones. Can you find that same amount of weight in the heels? Can you lift up through all 10 toes and wiggle them? Is your breath still steady? Do what you can. And on the next exhalation, when you fold forward, release the bind of the hands. Step just the right foot to the back of the mat. Point the toes. Inhale, sweep fingertips up. Let's find that opening, that vulnerability across our chest again by bending our elbows, drawing our navel in, and really expanding across the chest. And on your exhalation, when the hands come to the mat, pull the sit bones back, flex the foot, flare the toes. Inhale, glide forward, lift the chest, open the chest. Exhale, pull the hips back, fold into your own space. Remember, permission to settle into each posture for as many breaths as you like, or float through these two postures. Finding your own space, settling into your own movement. Your breath awareness, your spatial awareness. One more time if you're floating. And when you settle back forward, plant that right hand to the mat, heel toe that left foot to the outer edge. Lifting up through the big toe mound, let the knee fall out. So there should be no knee pain here at all. If there is, just settle into that simple lunge. And as you broaden across your chest, keeping that right elbow soft. Add that extra bind if it was for you on the other side, extending the fingertips to the back of the mat. Bending the back knee, finding a gentle bind on that foot. And with each inhalation, as you lift the heart, expand across the collarbone. Exhale, let that back hip drop towards the mat. You're finding more length and space through this hip. Can you settle into that place where you can still take a full breath in? Recognize where you're resisting What are your limitations, and be okay with them. And on the next exhale, when you release the bind, heel toe that left foot back to center. Keep the left fingertips up towards the ceiling and curl the back toes under. Inhale the knee up and away from the mat. And as you press through that back heel, reach through the crown, gently twist from your belly. Take one more full breath in, extending out of every limb, the heel, the fingertips, the crown of the head. And on the exhalation, when that left hand comes back to the mat, step left foot back to right, inhale into your high plank position. Exhale, cycle through your vinyasa, return to downward dog or choose child's pose. One more full breath in, bring the big toes together. And as you sweep that right heel high to the sky, bend the knee, turn the hips open. Settling into that three-legged dog with that nice hip opener. Spread the fingers wider. Even the weight in both hands. Maybe come high on that back toe. And as you exhale, let the chest get a little bit closer to the thigh. As that heel gets heavy towards the buttocks. Exhale, draw the knee to the nose. Hover hollow to plant that right foot between the hands. From your lunge position, we're just going to turn towards the long side of our mat, taking all 10 toes to the long side of our mat, so that we arrive in our wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, lift your chest, heel toe your feet a comfortable distance. Toes are pointing in, knees have a soft bend, and on the exhalation, fold into that space. Inhale, lift the chest, find more length. Exhale, settle in. Let's take 3 more full breaths in this way. With each exhalation, can you soften the bend in your knees? Can you shift your weight forward, trust your balance? Maybe there's more depth, maybe there isn't. Can you be okay with whatever space is made? And next time you inhale and rise up, we're going to go into that Skadasana, that half squat. Turn the right toes forward to the front of your mat. Bend your back knees, sinking your sit bones all the way to the mat. Turn your front toes up towards the mat. Today we're going to resist that left arm into our thigh and sweep right fingertips up. Take one more big breath in and then exhale. Let your sit bones come all the way down to the mat. You can keep that opening through your arms. If you want to add a bind, bend that right arm behind the back and interlace your fingers behind the back body. Inhale, lift the chest, expand. Exhale, surrender. Be okay with wherever you are in this posture. Maybe you're not binding, maybe you're balancing on your fingers, maybe you're just holding yourself up. Wherever that place is for you, I want you to take one more big full breath in. And on the exhalation, release the bind. Bring the sole of that back left foot into that right thigh. Sweep left fingertips towards the ceiling as you exhale. Fold up and over that right leg. Janya Shavasana. Head to knee pose. Full exhalation into that space. And when we inhale, we're going to go into that modified side plank. So as you inhale, rise up. Just balance onto that back left shin. Plant that right foot to the front of the mat and sweep the fingertips up and over towards the back of your mat. On your inhalation, rise up, reach through those fingertips. Left fingertips sweep for the ceiling, right fingertips towards that front foot. Exhale and release. Inhale, length through that side plank. Engage the core, rise up. Sweep left arm over. Again, you have permission to just settle into each posture or float for 3 more full breaths. Keeping the engagement in the core, the space across the chest. And on your next inhalation, when you rise up, just turn towards the face to the front of your mat. Flex your ankle and fold. Backing into our half splits. We've been here before. Relax the forehead towards the shin. Draw the sit bones towards the back of the mat. Take a full exhalation. And on the inhalation, when you lunge forward to plant the hands, curl the back left toes under. Step the right foot all the way back to the left. Inhale into your high plank position. Exhale, cycle through your vinyasa. Return to downward dog or choose child's pose. Because as you reset your foundation, steady back into your breath. Notice what's arising. And then this time as you inhale and step the big toes together, sweep the left heel high to the sky. Bend the knee, turn the hips open. Stacking that left hip on your right. Inhale, spread the fingers a little bit wider. Exhale, soften the bend in that back knee as you come high on the toes, letting the chest sink closer to the thigh. Notice if you're in a space here where you can still draw a full breath in. And on the exhalation, when you draw the knee to the nose to hover, hollow, and plant that left foot between the hands. Draw both hands inside your thigh and just spin to the long side of your mat, arriving in your wide-legged forward fold. Heel toe your feet, a perfect distance for you. Turn the big toes in, soften the bend in the knees, and balance on your fingertips as you find lots of length. Pull the shoulders from the ears. Push the sit bones back, but reach through your crown. We're going to take a twist on this side. Plant the left hand right underneath your nose. Keeping your hips square, sweep right fingertips up towards the ceiling. And on the exhalation, replace the right hand with the left. Sweep left fingertips up. Notice if you twist your body, I want you to pull the opposite hip back. Let yourself surrender into that space. Finding a gentle twist just from the belly. The hips are square. The breath is soft. And on the exhalation, when you release your hand back towards the mat, inhale, lift the chest halfway. Turn the left toes to the front of your mat. Bend that back right knee as you sink the sit bones down towards the mat. Skidasana, which simply means half squat. Balance on your fingers or your hands here. If you want that opening, you're just going to resist the right arm into the thigh, left fingertips up towards the sky. And if you want more, you're going to take that right arm around that shin and drop that left arm behind the back to interlace the fingers. Inhale, lift the chest, broaden across the collarbone. Exhale, let those sit bones sink. Soften your jaw. Make this pose yours wherever you're at. And when you're ready, release the bind. Let the sit bones come all the way to the mat. Sweep that back right foot into that left thigh. Inhale, right fingertips towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, fold up and over the left thigh. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen. Exhale, fold and surrender. Become completely aware of your breath here. And as we settle back into the pace of our own breath, inhale, rise up, moving into our modified side plank. Balance the right hand behind you. Settle onto that right shin and plant the left foot to the front of your mat. Sweep left fingertips all the way overhead till they come to the front of the mat. And with each inhalation, lift your hip up towards the ceiling. Really engage your core here, because on the inhale, you're going to sweep those left fingertips all the way up, rise up. Left fingertips slide down the front leg. Right fingertips reach up towards the ceiling. Same amount of length through that right side body. Exhale. Return back to your modified side plank. Find more length through the left side. Use your next inhalation to engage your core. Rise up. Settle over towards the left. 3 more full breaths this way, or just hold each side plank. Maybe one side is tighter than the other. Remember, we're all flawed. Find your beauty in those flaws. Maybe stay on the side that's tighter, that needs more length. And this time when you rise up, remember, turn to the front of your mat. Turn the toes up. Fold forward, finding that half split position. Letting the head be an extension of the spine. And as you exhale, letting yourself fall into whatever space is there. Take an extra breath here. And on the inhalation, when you lift the chest and lunge forward, curl the back toes under, lift the knee from the mat, and as you step left foot back to right, inhale into your high plank position. Exhale, cycle through your vinyasa, return to downward dog, or choose to reset your breath in child's pose. As you find your foundation and settle in, take 3 full breaths here. Notice the length of your inhale and your exhale. Notice if you still have space between your shoulders and ears. And on the next exhalation, I just want you to bend your knees so we come back to our tabletop position. We're going to enjoy a really fun pose, dolphin pose. I want you to drop down to your forearms. And if you need, you can hold your opposite elbows to make sure they're the right distance. But then you're going to extend the forearms forward, facing down, palms facing down, fingers spread. Knees are underneath your hips, and as you exhale, I really want you to pull your shoulders away from your ears. Feel that length and keep that length. On the next exhalation, lift the sit bones up and back and keep drawing your chest closer towards your thighs. When you're ready, slowly tippy-toe the toes towards you, but keep drawing your chest towards your thigh. So don't let your chest move away. Keep pushing your chest towards your thigh. Only walk your toes in where you can keep a long, steady breath. Can you press your forearms into the mat on your inhale and lift away from the mat, keeping that long space between your shoulders and ears? Exhale, drop the knees back towards the mat. Maybe take them wide and push back into your child's pose. Just wiggle it out here. Maybe you even want to bend your elbows. Bring your hands in reverse namaskar behind the neck. This is a really nice release. We have a couple options here. So stay in child's pose and breathe if that's what you need today. See if you can try your dolphin pose one more time. Or if you want a little more of a challenge today, we're going to go into our dolphin push-up. So setting up the same way, holding opposite elbows, spreading the fingers, placing the palms down, drawing the shoulders right over top of the elbows, and bringing the knees underneath the hips. Curling the toes under, lifting the sit bones up and back, and drawing the chest towards the thighs. This time you're not going to walk the toes towards the elbows. If you're doing the push-up, you're just going to bring your shoulders right over top, high plank. Don't collapse through the belly or the lower back. Press all the way back. Inhale, draw yourself forward. Keep a strong engagement in the core. Exhale, push back. Let's take 3 more breaths here. If you want to bring the toes a little bit closer, feel free to. But keep that strong connection. That lift and length up and away from the mat. That space between the shoulders and the ears. And when you've found your finish, knees wide, big toes touch. Press all the way back onto those heels, wiggle into that space. Maybe lift the wrists up, circle the wrists. And as we sink into a little more space between our thighs, use your next inhalation to rise up onto all fours. Curl the toes under. Exhale, lift up and back into your downward dog. Inhale high on all 10 toes, and as you exhale, bend the knees, look between the hands, step, jump, or hop to the front of your mat. Lift your chest halfway, lengthen through your spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to fold. One more breath in this way. This time when you lift your chest, I want you to heel toe your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Turn your toes out so we can drop into Malasana or Yogi Squat. Let the bum drop towards the mat. Let the chest lift. Bring the hands to heart center. Maybe you stay balanced on the hands. Maybe if they come to that prayer position, you use the back of the arms to gently press those thighs open. Let's just let ourselves settle into whatever space is there. Maybe we're higher balanced on our fingertips. And then planting the hands. Lift the hips up, heel toe the feet back together. And we're going to drop back into that chair posture by simply bending the knees, sinking the sit bones, and bringing our hands back to heart center. Inhale, lift the elbows. Exhale, twist towards the right. You can choose to hover here. Keep that length in the torso, keep that twist. If you can drop the sit bones and interlace the back of the arm on the thigh without crunching the space in the torso, with keeping that space across the collarbone broad, feel free to bind, otherwise just hover. On the exhalation, I want you to take just the left leg to the back of the mat. Dropping right into a revolve side angle. Maybe you drop that back knee, maybe you keep it lifted. And if you want a little more, you can take the fingertips to the floor and the right fingertips to the ceiling. But as you really squeeze the inner thighs on the next inhalation, rise all the way up into your twisted crescent lunge. Let yourself sink into that space. And on the next exhale, windmill all the way open to your warrior two, open to the opposite long side. Let the heel drop to the mat. Relax the shoulders down at shoulder height, spreading the fingers, softening the gaze. Settle into the strong foundation of your feet, but the softness of your breath here. And on the exhalation, reverse your warrior, but today let's straighten that front leg as we extend those right fingertips towards the back of our mat. Moving into triangle pose, you're going to keep that front leg straight, but I want you to find a soft bend, so don't hyperextend the knee. And bring those right fingertips all the way to a block, to that right shin, or maybe to the floor. Dropping that left arm behind the back to really open across the chest. Maybe you hold the opposite elbow. Notice if you've collapsed here. Lift and lengthen out of both side bodies evenly. Keep the strength in that right quad. So the legs straight, but without hyperextending. And on the exhalation, when you release that twist, planting all 10 fingertips to the mat, framing that right foot, sweep that left heel high to the sky. Bring the weight forward onto the right foot. Warrior three. We're going to flex that back floating ankle. Point the toes down. And as we reach the arms for the back body, interlace the fingers, lift the chest up, reach the hands back for that floating ankle. Exhale, soften the bend in the front knee, let the back leg land to the mat, lift the heart. Exhale and fold into your humble warrior. Right arm inside right thigh. Settle the crown of the head to the mat. Let yourself completely surrender here, releasing the interlace of the finger, planting the hands to the mat. Step right foot back to left, inhale into your high plank. Exhale and lower halfway. Inhale, draw the chest forward, relax the shoulders from the earth. Really engage the core as you squeeze the ankles together. Exhale, flip the toes. Lift the sit bones up and back. Big full exhalation. Inhale, high and all 10 toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look between the hands. Step, jump, or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale to lift your chest halfway and lengthen. We've been here before. Other side, exhale and fold. Inhale to lift the chest halfway. Exhale to surrender and fold. One more full lift here. Heel toe the feet, hip width distance or wider. Exhale, drop the sit bones down, lift the chest up. Balance on the fingers or bring the hands to heart center. Really wiggle that lower jaw. Feel the shoulder blades drop down the back rib cage here as the sit bones sink to the mat and you lift your heart. Remind yourself to just accept wherever you are in this posture. And on the inhalation, when you take the hips up towards the ceiling, heel toeing the feet back together. Bend the knees, let the sit bones drop down like you're sitting in a chair, and bring the hands to heart center once again. Inhale, lift the elbows up. This time, exhale, twist towards the left, just hovering. Maybe you bind that right arm onto that outer left thigh, but find space between chest and thigh. Exhale, sink the sit bones. Find more space between your shoulders and ears as you lift the chest. Keeping all the weight on that left foot. Step the right foot to the back of the mat in your revolve side angle. Find your balance. Settle your breath. Press through that back right heel, lift the chest away from the thigh, twist from the belly. Maybe take that extra bind where fingertips come to the floor. But wherever you are, you can even keep your hands at heart center to rise up here into your twisted crescent lunge. And then extend, right fingertips forward, left fingertips back. Hug that left knee out, sink into that space. And on the exhalation, windmill the arms open, dropping that back right heel. Arms settle at shoulder height. Hips line up with the long side of your mat. Warrior two. Strong foundation. Soft breath. And on the exhalation, when we reverse our warrior, we're going to straighten that front leg today and just find a little more length as we lean back from hip to armpit to fingertips. Inhale, rise back up. Keep that front leg straight. Extend those left fingertips to the front of the mat and let them settle down to the block, the shin, or the floor. Triangle pose, right fingertips towards the ceiling. Stay stacked, shoulder over shoulder. Notice that you haven't hyperextended that front knee, so I really want you to engage the quad. Lift the knee up without pressing it back. And on the exhalation, drop that right arm behind the back. Roll the right shoulder open. This is where we feel open, where we feel vulnerable, but where we can settle into our breath. And on the exhalation, when you release the twist, planting all 10 fingertips to trace that left foot, turn the right heel high to the sky. Bend the front knee, bounce off the back toes, and as you sweep that heel up, arriving in your warrior three, square your hips. Flex your floating foot, point your toes down. And when you're ready, sweep the arms behind the back, interlace the fingers, and really lift the chest. Draw those hands down towards that back heel, and with the steadiness of your breath, soften the bend in the front knee. Drop that back floating foot towards the mat at a slight angle. Inhale, lift the heart up. Warrior one. Exhale, humble your warrior, bringing your left shoulder inside your left thigh. Let the arms drop over, let the crown of the head descend. And when you plant the hands to the mat, turn the right heel up, step left foot back to right, inhale into high plank position. On your exhalation this time, you're just going to lower your belly all the way to the mat and settle there. Bring the hands to the top of your mat, stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands and just shake everything out. Taking half frog, sweep right arm back, bend the right knee, and just let that heel drop towards the buttocks. Let both hips press evenly into your mat here as you draw your heel towards your buttocks. On the exhalation, switch the right hand to the mat, forehead to the right hand. Left arm sweeps back to arrive onto that left ankle. Hips press evenly into the mat. Shoulders relax. Heel draws towards the buttocks. Settle here, maybe whichever side was tighter. You want to hold that side a little bit longer. If you want to finish with our full bow pose, bend the right knee once again. So now you have your hands on both ankles. Chin is tucked. And on the inhalation, resist the shins in towards the hands. Peel the chest away from the mat and relax that space between your shoulders and ears. With each inhalation, press the shins to the back of the mat. Draw the heart forward. See if you can lengthen front and back without resistance. One more full breath in here. And on the exhalation, release the posture. Curl 10 toes under, plant the hands underneath the shoulders. Actually, let's point the toes, draw the elbows in, and just lift up in our cobra. Exhale and release. Let's take the fingertips to the top of the corners of the mat in that tented position. Lift the elbows up, lift the chest once again. Exhale and release. This time when we inhale and rise up, pause there. Taking a twist, drop the left shoulder towards the mat, looking over the right. Inhale back to center. Let the right shoulder settle, look over the left. And on the inhalation, when you come back to center, this time, bring the hands under the shoulder, curl all 10 toes under. Inhale into your high plank position. Exhale, downward dog. Slowly tippy-toe the feet to the front of the mat. Heel toeing the feet wide. Dropping down onto the sit bones. Bringing the feet to the front of the mat. Extend your feet forward. Moving into our forward fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, hinge only at the hips, folding forward. So maybe you can hold onto your feet. Maybe the hands just settle onto the mat. Notice if you've rounded through your back body and collapsed. I want you to lift that heart, keep that length, and just hinge into whatever space is yours. Remember, we're surrendering to our breath. We're making each posture our own today. We're feeling perfectly imperfect in all of our own postures. 2 more big exhales here. Did you allow that to take place on your mat? If not, without judgment, allow it now. And on the inhalation, when you rise up to center, pull that right knee in towards the chest, cross it up and over the left. Use the right fingertips behind the back as you sweep left fingertips up. And on the exhalation, twisting towards the right. Let that arm come on the outside of the thigh or simply just hug that knee. Keep even weight in both sit bones. And as you inhale and lengthen up away from them, exhale, just gently twist from your belly. Then your heart. Let the head be the last thing to turn if it even needs to turn at all. And as you exhale and release, extend the right leg forward. Pull the left knee in towards the chest. Cross it up and over the right. Inhale, sweep right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale and twist towards the left. Gentle resistance. More weight on both sit bones. More length on the inhale, up and away from the sit bones. Exhale into whatever twist is yours. And on the exhalation, when you release the twist, pull the soles of both feet together, let the knees drop open, and hinge into that space, your Baddha Konasana. Let's take one more big opening in the chest. Rise up slightly so you can slide your hands underneath your shins. Palms face up, holding onto your shins. Really round your back, lean back, tuck your chin. On the inhale, use that grip on your shins to draw yourself forward onto the tips of your sit bones. Lift your heart up, relax your shoulders. So it's almost like a cat-cow, but in our bound angle. And on the next exhalation, use your hands to draw the knees together. Make sure there's enough space and no blocks behind you. And slowly unroll one vertebrae at a time. When you settle up onto your back, stack your knees over your hips. Let both legs fall over towards the left. Keep the right shoulder heavy into the mat. Surrender into whatever natural twist is here. So maybe that right knee falls heavy on the left. Maybe you have to draw the thighs farther away from the torso. Where can you completely surrender into your own twist? And with your next inhalation, gently engage the core, bring the knees back to center. And as you let both legs fall over to the right, find the same spinal twist. Maybe there's a block between the knees, maybe there's one on the floor. And as you inhale and bring the knees back to center, press the soles of the feet together. Find that bind on the feet and just gently draw the thighs away. Maybe rock side to side. Maybe you want to finish with happy baby, holding onto the big toes, bringing the knees in towards the armpits, keeping the back of the tailbone heavy. Maybe one leg then the other. Whatever final posture feels right for you. And then let the feet come all the way down to the mat. Shavasana. The whole reason we work through all those postures so that we could settle into stillness. So as you drop the feet open, shake out any last little wiggles or fidgets. Let the arms come down to the side, palms up, and really tuck those shoulder blades deep down your back. Just let yourself simply drop into your breath here. I'm going to grab a quote from Brené Brown that really resonates with me to finish off our practice. So only when we are brave enough to explore our darkness will we discover the infinite power of our own light. Brené Brown. I invite you to settle here and absorb your practice for as long as you feel comfortable. You've worked hard for the last hour to come to this place. So enjoy your space. Breathe into your imperfections. Let them make you smile way deep down inside. From the bottom of my heart to the top of yours, thank you for sharing your practice with me. Looking forward to playing again next week. Namaste.